tough loss for the Padres last night in the 10th inning. Dodgers were able to win 8-7 despite a late Jackson Merrill double to try to tie it. Tonight, Dodgers Padres again at 640. Dodgers are currently underdogs at plus 105, with the Padres being minus 125. Dodgers are going with a bullpen game where Dylan Cease will be on the mound for the Pods. The run line is set at 8.5. Wondering what a personal message with your credit card number has in common with way too many pictures of your dog? Well, they're both private, because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even them. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
Sammy's going to Vegas this weekend for his birthday. He wants everyone to know about it.
Not for my birthday.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
No, it's
Going to Vegas, and it happens to be my birthday.
Hey, Sammy, why are you going to Vegas? Well, it's my birthday, so,
No.
You think we get there by midnight? Honey, we're going to be up 500 by midnight.
We're not doing the roast yet, even though that is very funny, and Sammy does look like the little kid from Stuart Little who grew up.
You look somewhat like a mouse.
So what do I look like?
Some people have said that I look like Rowley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Ralphie from A Christmas Story combined.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Now it's time to enter the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, welcome, man. Let's get things going here on San Diego Sports 760. Happy Tuesday, everybody. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We'll be with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. And I would imagine over the next 6 hours of our radio day here, there's going to be a lot of talk about what happened last night at Petco Park, what's going to happen tonight at Petco Park. And let's get right into it with last night, because that's a disappointing freaking loss for the San Diego Padres, who I felt like multiple times had that game in their hands. And I think that without self-inflicted wounds, the Padres should have won last night instead of losing in extra innings. I don't think this game should have ever gone to extra innings. But that is the situation they're in. Padres do end up losing in the 10th inning, which I don't know, Sammy. We didn't have a lot of correct predictions yesterday, but I do think I said this game was going to go to extras, didn't I?
You did say that.
I did say that. Not super stoked with the outcome, but the Padres, I think, learned a valuable lesson yesterday, and I hope that's a lesson that they take with them into the future. When you are playing the Dodgers, you cannot afford to spot them any runs, and that is exactly what happened last night with some really shoddy defense played by the San Diego Padres, who, give them credit, the offense was there. The Padres scored enough runs last night to get the win, but when you spot runs to a team like the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have just murderers all over this lineup, you're not going to win a whole lot of baseball games. So I don't know, off the top rope, Sammy, your impressions from last night, a game one loss for the Padres against the Dodgers.
Yeah, it was. Well, first off, it was an amazing game, not the
Great
outcome,
game.
but
back and forth, fun. It kept you in the whole time. It was a really good baseball game for June 9th.
I mean, there were multiple times where it felt like the Dodgers are going to run away with this, and there were multiple times where it felt like the Padres are going to run away with it after the Padres spotting them 2-0 in the first inning, then they come right back and tie it. It was a wild game. There's so much to get into that we're going to get into the rest of the show, because there's a lot to it. There's the call and Manny Machado with the ball that a lot of people are pointing to today as to why they lost. There's Xander Bogaerts not coming through once again, unfortunately, at the end of that game. With the
Did anyone think he would?
No. But
Did Xander think he would?
Unfortunately, his contract is saying that they think he would. And one thing that we're going to get into later that I don't think is getting enough criticism is Mike Schilt. And I get it. The Padres kind of had the worst case scenario is they had a hard fought game and they burned a lot of their best arms in the pen, thinking that you have a pitching advantage over the Dodgers for all three games. You really have a more favorable pitching matchup. Pivetta not able to give you much, really kind of tough outing from him. One of the first of the year outside of that Giants game last week. But I didn't understand, Fletch. I don't know about you, pulling Suarez. When Suarez only went 10 pitches, I believe it was 10 pitches in the middle of that lineup, knowing you had the 7, 8, 9 hitters of the Dodgers and knowing your next best option was Wandy Peralta, considering the struggles that Peralta has really had this year. I didn't think throwing Peralta in that stage was really thinking, hey, you're going to win this game. I don't know what Schilt did. I know he's trying to save him for the next couple games, but considering how close that game was and how you need to win these things, it felt like a real misstep for me.
I don't know how many options Mike Schilt genuinely had. I don't know that I blame him completely for handling the bullpen the way he did. I don't think you could have put Jason Adam out there yesterday. He's pitched way too much. He needs days off, probably not just day off. But with Robert Suarez, I did see online afterwards an interesting thought that you save the closer in a game that's most likely going into extras for extras. So Suarez not going out to pitch the 9th, but instead Suarez coming out to pitch the 10th, But then you get in that battle of, well, without Suarez pitching in the ninth, do you even get to a 10th inning? And that's probably more where I lie. But I'm fine with him pulling him after 10 pitches because he's your closer. You're going to need him into the future. You probably are forecasting the next 2 games being pretty damn close too, that you're going to need Suarez for. So I don't mind that so much. I did start to think a lot last night about, do you switch things up? And in a game that you think is most likely going into extra innings, do you throw someone else out there in the ninth thinking you might need Suarez in the 10th?
I totally hear that. The thinking, I guess, was it's a tough spot because it was, I believe, it was the middle of the lineup. So it was Muncy was up. Pages with them next time because that's when he got the hit. But it was Pages. And
Pages is fun, man.
Pages is a really good play. Him and Merrill for the Dodgers and Padres are going to be hell for a lot of people for years to come for both those teams. It was Teoscar and Muncy. And I get throwing Suarez out there because, again, we'd all be coming on the next day if they didn't put Suarez out there.
Right. Say Wandy gave up the game in the ninth.
But it feels like with the lack of length, like the Dodgers' real MVP last night, if you think about it, was May was garbage, but he gave him length in that inning. And Anthony Bonda being able to go 2 innings, and Morejon came in, was super clutch for the Padres. But it felt like the worst case scenario to get that close to a win, burn this many good arms. Today, Dylan Cease has got to go away. This is a big game for Dylan Cease. I know it's the middle of June. I know people are going to go, it's one game, and it is one game. But this is a big deal today for Dylan Cease.
All right, couple things on the Padres that we'll get to coming up in about 10 minutes. The Manny Machado, was it a ball, was it a strike? There is a definitive answer on that. We'll give it to you coming up next. And also just the thought process of Manny Machado in that moment, plus the weird ass point of view cam from the ump's head, I think is bizarre. It's kind of fun, but it's just a little weird for me. And then the defensive boneheaded mistakes that the Padres, they got away with one really bad one.
That's the other thing.
And then the throw to first base was god awful. The mix up in the outfield, I guess I can kind of understand. That was Manny Machado and was it Lockridge?
Was it Wade at the time?
It might have been Wade at the time. You're right. And so they lose the ball in the lights. You can sort of forgive that one, but the other ones, my God, man, you are a professional baseball team spotting the Dodgers free runs. I don't get it.
And I wanted to be fair to Wandy Peralta because people are bashing him. And was he good? No, because he gave up another hit.
It's not all on him.
Lockridge should have got that ball. I mean, Pages didn't like it was a good hit, but I thought it had a little less height to it that it was going to get down. But yeah, just a real disappointing way to end the game, and really kind of felt like it was going to be a classic. And I guess it was a classic, just didn't turn out the way everyone wanted it to.
All right, we got text rolling in. Keep those coming. 70470. Start your message with team. We'll keep on that later in the show. But right now we got to get to the big 3. Sammy Long takes us through the top stories in the world of sports. This might end up being a big 2 because we're a little crunched for time here. But Sammy, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
If you would like to watch us, you can be very creepy, be voyeurs into the lives of Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long. You're more than welcome to on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760, on X at Fletch and Sammy. We already got some comments going on YouTube.
Did you just call the people that tune into us creepy?
I said voyeurs. Yeah.
Oh, well, we want people to watch.
We do.
That's not a great start.
Sammy will make eye contact with you all show long.
I'll look at you all show long.
If that's what you're into,
show you that respect.
Sammy is a blonde. All right, Sammy, where are we starting?
Okay, let's start in the NFL. Some sneaky big stories. Mandatory minicamp started today and yesterday. So multiple big names being held out. Per Schefter, TJ Watt is holding out a mandatory minicamp. Trey Hendrickson is also out of minicamp for the Bengals. Terry McLaurin is skipping minicamp per Ian Rappaport for the Commanders. Which one of those is the most impactful to you?
TJ Watt. Not even close. But I would like to rank them on levels of importance. So TJ Watt would be my number 1. Terry McLaurin would be my number 2. Trey Hendrickson would be my number 3, only because, and Trey Hendrickson might actually be the best player between the 3 of those right now, only because the Bengals defense is already a disaster, and I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to pay TJ Watt. They have to. Could you imagine the backlash they would get in Pittsburgh if they bring in Aaron Rodgers, even if it's just a 1-year, $20 million deal, and they turn their back on one of the most beloved players in Steelers history? I don't think so. That's going to happen. Terry McLaurin needs to get paid. He deserves to get paid. He made it work for so long with crap quarterbacks, and now he finally has a good quarterback. Protect Jaden Daniels by signing Terry McLaurin. That is very, very important. And then Trey Hendrickson, look, I don't know. He deserves better than the Cincinnati Bengals. Get him out. please.
Well, TJ, the interesting part about TJ is Hendrickson and McLaurin were kind of expected. TJ kind of came out of nowhere, and there's been some kind of bubbling trade rumors about TJ Watt, but everyone goes, how could you trade TJ Watt? If you're trading TJ Watt, Mike Tomlin must have assurances that he's going to be here for the next couple of years, because they didn't take a quarterback. They didn't take Shador when they could have got him for a late round pick and wouldn't have expended much draft capital. Obviously, TJ Watt, we're thinking of the Steelers completely differently. I mean, in my opinion, he's the best pass rusher in the NFL in terms of what he does in coverage and on the edge. He's phenomenal. Hendrickson, you pointed it out, what he means for that defense. The defense already sucks. I mean, it's bad.
He's
already.
led the NFL in sacks the last 2 years, and the defense has been garbage.
And they got Shamar Stewart, the kid out of Texas A&M, but now if he doesn't play, now you're going, you need this guy who only had 4.5 sacks at Texas A&M last year. They kind of got him for upside, for tools. You want him to learn from Hendrickson. And the Commanders, I would pay Terry McLaurin because I think he's actually one of the most underrated receivers in the league. I think we saw that in the Detroit Lions playoff game where he absolutely destroyed them. But I will say, for a Commanders organization that has fallen, has not had good management, has not had a lot of stuff, I do like that they're showing some restraint and not just paying these guys because they had a glimpse of success last year. I think that's a little bit of growth.
Terry McLaurin's been sick for a couple years now, dude. I think you got to pay him. The other interesting NFL note of someone kind of floating out there, Jair Alexander, he could still make a big difference on a team, and the Packers just released him, so he's a free agent. There are a couple teams rumored right now, but I'm very, very curious to see where he ends up.
Yeah, that'll be, apparently they're linking the Bills maybe, but we'll see. Big NBA story possibly. Kevin Durant, per Windhorst this morning, is expected to be traded in the coming weeks, and the Knicks are among the teams most likely to pursue him.
Well, who do we trust, Wendy or Bill Simmons?
Oh, because Bill Simmons said the Spurs yesterday.
And he said he thinks it's already done. They're just waiting to publicize
John
it.
Gambadoro, a big radio host out in Phoenix, said the same thing. You're hearing Spurs. Well, okay, so what would you rather see? You see him in the Spurs or the Knicks?
The Knicks, look, if he goes to the Knicks, I think it would be a bit of a disaster. We've seen the Kevin Durant New York experience before. I don't think the Knicks are nearly as stable an organization, especially with a new head coach coming in. And does Kevin Durant have power on who he's picking as the head coach? Like, I could just, if you want Kevin Durant to have a little more power, I don't think that goes very well. Spurs, on the other hand, super stable organization. Even with Popovich moving up to the front office, I think that would be an absolute home run. And you're talking about title contender. If he goes to the Knicks, I could see that being a crash and burn situation.
I see the Spurs, because Wemby was that when he came out, he's Kevin Durant 2.0. He's got the crazy length, but he can shoot, and he's super tall, so he can play in the post, come out in the wing. Who's guarding that? That'd be interesting. My thing though is if you're the Spurs, I don't know what that package is. I'm not giving up Stephon Castle and the number 2 overall pick, which is probably going to be Dylan Harper per report today, 2 weeks out, for him. I would rather keep the young gun point guards and guards, and then maybe trade them for a package coming up. I would only move those picks for Giannis. I think Giannis would really move the needle and actually fit better with that team. The Knicks is interesting. To your point about New York, we already saw the Nets. It's different playing for the Knicks. It's the biggest thing in the city. I don't know, with someone who's pretty sensitive when it comes to the media, how playing in New York is going to go. But on paper, getting Jalen Brunson another wing scorer would work better. But I just don't know, who are they going to move? They don't have any picks. They traded 5 picks for Mikal Bridges. Are you trading Anunoby? Are you trading Mikal Bridges and a couple picks? Where's the defense at?
I also saw Lakers in the headline in the NBA. Naz Reid. Is that official? Is it happening?
There's some rumors the Lakers are going after Naz Reid, trying to get that center.
A lot of money.
Yeah, Naz Reid they need a traditional center, but a guy who could shoot threes down low, Luka kick outside would be big. Also, my boy Luka squatting 720 pounds today.
I'm telling you, it's a fun joke on the internet right now. Like Luka getting in shape, Luka eating avocado toast, Luka lifting weights.
You could see posting it.
You could see Luka's jawline for the first time in a couple years. It's a funny joke, but a woman scorned. There's some famous line about it. I think Dallas pissed him off.
Yeah, it might have been the best thing that ever happened to him.
Maybe. I think we're about to see a revenge tour from Luka Doncic.
The Lakers are going to open with Dallas on the opening night.
For sure. It's going to be fun, man. All right, we're going to take our first break of the day. Big story, or big 3, number 3 is going to be coming up right at the start of the next segment. We'll also get back to the Padres. Tons of texts coming in on last night's Padres-Dodgers game. If you would like to text the show, 70470, start your message with team. If you would like to call the show today, 877-767-4760. We'll take your calls on Padres-Dodgers. First break of the day. Dirks Bentley tickets also coming up in the first hour of the show. We'll be right back at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. Tons of reaction on the text line and from YouTube on this Padres and Dodgers game from last night. But first, from the 858, going off of our conversation we had a little bit earlier, Jair Alexander going to the Rams. You heard it here first. Do you like that one?
I like that because it's such a young defense to get a veteran back there. I think that would be a good move for the Rams.
He's still got some years left, man.
Well, he's a great player when he's playing.
Right.
Like it's not like he sucks. They cut him because they said that he can't stay healthy. The GM literally came out and said that.
I'd take Jair Alexander on the Niners.
I think he's going to have a pretty big market, especially once camp rolls around and someone gets hurt.
Yeah, for sure. And then Aaron Rodgers, today's his first day out playing in Pittsburgh at minicamp. I'll just say this. You know, when you kind of do the eyeball test, and you look at someone in a different jersey for the first time, like every once in a while, a picture of Jerry Rice will pop up in a Raiders jersey, and it just looks bizarre. It looks weird seeing Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh uniforms.
Yeah, it was like when Brady ran out in the Bucs uniform. It was odd seeing it.
Like, it didn't feel that weird on the Jets for me. Maybe it was because it was similar color scheme. I don't know. But seeing Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh gear is weird as hell. And I think I like it less now. I really do. All right, Padres, Dodgers last night. Some of these texts rolling in. 858, why didn't they let Suarez pitch in the 10th? It was 10 pitches in the 9th. He probably could have gone in the 10th as well. But I would imagine... Again, I probably would have put him back out for the 10th. But if you're Mike Schilt, you're thinking, okay, well, the next two games of this series are probably going to be pretty close as well. We want to have Suarez available for them. That's the only thing I could think. 858 says 100% on Schiltzy, talking about Sammy, saying he is to blame for last night. You threw your closer in on a tied game with your 8, 9, and worst hitters on deck. He basically... Oh, are you saying Tatis is one of the worst hitters on the Padres? Jeez. He basically said, if we don't win the bottom of the 9th, then we just forfeit the game.
It's good. I mean, obviously Tatis is a great hitter when he's there, but the way he's been struggling, it did feel like in the 8th inning, it felt like that game was going to, like, I understand throwing Suarez if it's Tatis and Arise and Machado thinking, hey, if we can't score a run at home in the bottom of the 9th, then that's probably on us. But agreeing with this text, 8, 9, and 1, did anyone think that Elias Diaz was really going to hit a solo shot? I didn't. I thought it was literally going to be up to Fernando to do it. He gets on with the walk, and then Arias gets the pop-up out. I thought it was a real misstep considering Suarez went so few pitches.
858, putting Lockridge in for Wade was a mistake. He struck out twice and took a bad line in the outfield. Yeah, that was a bad line when he was who hit that ball? Was that the Pages ball?
Pages hit the one that Lockridge ran.
Yeah.
Did the funky, he like ran in, he like misguided it, and then he cut out. It was very odd.
Look, playing outfield is tough, but it did feel like Lockridge was making it tougher there, and the Padres' problems at left field continue.
But that's the problem with left field. It's not even that the Padres aren't getting batting production from left field, which they're not. They're not even making simple plays. Last night alone, the Pages hit. Then if you want to pass it off, the Machado and Wade with their miscommunication, that can't happen. Like this is simple. John said it on the wrap-up show last night. It was like a high school team playing defense last night, and it's actually a credit to the Padres how talented they are that the game was that close.
He said it was like a high school team.
That's what Schaefer said last night, and I agree with him.
Dude, it was okay. The play with Bogarts and Cronenworth and Manny at second base. Do we all realize how lucky they are that Manny Machado was there?
He ripped it out of Cronenworth's glove. You said before the show, I thought he shouldn't even have been there.
No, that was Manny, I think, recognizing that Bogarts was about to do something stupid. And he was. It was a dumb play. And Cronenworth wasn't there on time. It was bad.
This is at home. Like this is at Petco with one of the best fan bases in all of the major leagues. That it's a tough crowd. It's a tough place to play on the road, and they're making simple errors like this. What's going to happen up at the Ravine in a week? 858.
It doesn't matter if we lose every game against the Dodgers as long as we win the World Series. Here's the problem. You got to go through the Dodgers and some tough teams in the National League playing mistake-free baseball and hopefully still getting run production in order to get to a World Series.
Yeah, and yes, it's one game. They're playing them 13 times. So I understand thinking if we can't overreact. They could win today and tomorrow, and we're going, hey, they won the series.
You could also play perfect games against the Dodgers and still lose.
And this series is crucial. We talked about this yesterday on the show, you and I. you're missing Yamamoto. You have the pitching advantage in every game. I thought Pivetta was going to be better than May going into the game. Both were pretty awful, but I guess I'd give it to Pivetta because Pivetta really just got caught on the one. May wasn't even hitting the strike zone. Today, the Dodgers are in a bullpen game. Dylan Cease is a supposed ace, hasn't really been pitching like it this year, but the advantage there. And I'd give Randy Vasquez the edge over Robleski tomorrow. Robleski's got a really nice elevated fastball, but he's really struggled at times this year for the Dodgers. This is not a series at home that I think you can afford to lose, considering the injuries the Dodgers pitchers have. They're only going to get healthier. So these tiebreakers, these things happen. We can go, it's a game in June. It's a pretty damn big series in June.
619. LA gets production all the way from 1 to 9. We get production from 1 through 4 and an occasional hit from 5 through 7. That's the biggest difference between the two teams. It is tough. The depth of the Dodgers makes it brutal to play against them, but that's who you have to get over if you actually have World Series aspirations, which I think this team does. Sammy, what was the stat you sent me about the top of the Padres order? That last night was the first time that the three guys.
Oh, it was the first time.
Tatis, Arise, Machado.
Yeah, that they all got on base in the first inning
since that Colorado Rockies game where the Padres scored like 21 runs.
Yeah,
that's a crazy stat, man. Those three should be doing better than that. I don't know. 949. This series is going to be crazy for the next few years. It absolutely should be, but we'll see how much longer Bogarts is going to be a part of it.
What? Oh yeah, keep reading them, and I want to get back to that.
Our buddy Demi says I would have still sent Suarez out in the 10th, but I also would have sent Suarez. Oh, I'm not positive what you're saying there, Demi. Sorry about that. Jamar, our buddy Jamar, saying that POV of the ump getting chewed out by Manny was hilarious but weird. All right, we do need to get to the ball/strike that has everybody up in arms today. Can we all realize and acknowledge that the automatic balls and strike system would have called that a strike last night on Manny Machado? Watching it live, I thought it was a ball immediately. But I also thought, what's the first thing you're taught in like Little League baseball? When you get 2 strikes, you widen your zone and you protect and you foul pitches off that maybe you don't normally swing at. If you're Manny Machado in that situation, are you really going to let the umpire dictate it on a borderline call at best? Like, I could see either way. Ump's calling that balls or strikes. And that umpire that night had been calling the outside corner a strike.
I think to that end, I'm like you. I thought it was a ball when he threw it. I thought he was going to get walked. To be fair to the ump, I thought it was a rough strike zone for both teams all night. Teoscar Hernandez got hit on the same pitch earlier on the outside zone, kind of same area, and he actually turned around and looked at him. It was a very horizontal zone. He was calling a lot of stuff outside. It was not very vertical. There was a lot of pitches, I thought, for both teams that could have led to some big strikeouts for May and Pivetta that were called at the top of the zone, that were called as balls, that I was pretty surprised at. But to be fair to the ump, he was consistent. Listen, should he have been walked? Probably. But I think boiling it all down to one moment like that, there were a lot of other things that go into this game, like the amount of errors that the Padres did. I mean, Morejon, credit to Morejon for getting out of it because he struck out Freddie with a nasty sinker the next at bat. But I mean, that could easily have come back to bite the Padres in the ass, him not throwing Shohei out when he got a ground out at first.
It should have bit the Padres in the ass. But yeah, so they do the report card on umpires after every single game now. And for impactful missed calls of last night's game, the Manny Machado one doesn't even pop up because automatic balls and strikes would have scored that a strike. If you're Manny Machado, do you really want to be walked in that situation, or do you want to be the man? I'm sorry, but it's time to swing, dude.
And the way he's been hitting. Yeah,
you've been the best hitter on the Padres for the last month and a half. I couldn't believe that he wasn't swinging in that situation. And then the POV cam, Major League Baseball, let's not do that, man. It looks so weird. It's
I was
wildly
like, there's gonna be
uncomfortable.
some rough memes here.
For sure. Rich and I were talking about doing a video making fun of it today. Like, it's bizarre. It is weird. I was also thinking about, what if someone has bad breath in those situations?
Yeah, the ump's running away.
The umps and coaches, when they go at it, like a lot of times you'll see a coach chew it on like bubble gum or something, so it can't be that bad. But if someone has bad breath, that becomes the most awkward situation ever. All right, coming up next, Dylan Cease is going tonight. Do we realize that this is the first time since the NLDS a year ago that Dylan Cease is pitching against the Dodgers? I think it's a big night for a guy who's had some struggles this year. Before we get to that, though, download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch. Sammy, did we win last night?
We did not. Tatis and Dustin May got pulled 2 pitches before we needed the over.
He threw 89.
89 pitches, he needed 91. And Tatis, I thought Tatis was going to get it, but
so did I. I thought Tatis was going to hit a home run last night, but we will continue today. Coming up at 12:45, we're going to do something called long shots. Long shots is where you can take a lineup that Sammy Long makes every single day, throw it into Prize Picks, and you pick more than or less than on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. When you download the Prize Picks app, use promo code Fletch. That is going to get you a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. Long shots could be that first $5 entry. I love Prize Picks because of the promotions. Taco Tuesdays, which is today, Flex Fridays, which is coming up on Friday. But on a Taco Tuesday, there are discounts hitting the board all day long. I can already see some of them popping up right now as we speak in professional women's basketball. So make sure you download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch, and you can take Max Fried, for example, at just 3.5 pitcher strikeouts down from his normal of 5. You can go more than on Max Fried for his game today. Download Prize Picks, use promo code Fletch, FLETCH, get that $50 bonus, and run your game all season long on Prize Picks.
This sport is sponsored by WhatsApp. Padres tough loss last night to the Dodgers, 8-7 in extra innings. Tonight they'll be back. The Dodgers will be going with a bullpen game, and Dylan Cease will be on the mound for the Padres. That game will be at 6:40. The Padres are currently -125 on the money line, and the point total is set at 8.5. And legendary coach Lee Corso will be having his final college game day in September against Ohio State.
Ugh.
I know, for real. Wondering what a personal message with your credit card number has in common with way too many pictures of your dog? Well, they're both private, because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even them. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone.
San Diego Sports 760. We do have a 4-pack of tickets for you to go see Dierks Bentley out at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on June 19th. We will be giving those away within the next 10 minutes. So stay tuned here. For tickets and info, visit Ticketmaster.com or just keep listening for your shot to win. Tons of text that we're going to have to save for hour number 2 a little bit here. Maybe we get some at the end of this segment. But Padres Dodgers last night. Padres lose it in the 10th inning. Disappointing. We talked a lot about Manny Machado's 10th inning plate appearance. We haven't talked about Xander Bogaerts' plate appearance in the 10th at all. And first of all, Jackson Merrill, I give him a lot of credit. He had the only competitive at bat for the Padres in the 10th inning. But Xander Bogaerts, I mean, I've heard Jim saying it a lot lately that this is the worst contract in Padres history. And I do think it's the worst contract in Padres history. But Xander Bogaerts, is there nothing left, dude? Because it doesn't even look like he has confidence in himself at any moment. At least fake it. At least try to make yourself think that you're going to be a good baseball player again. Because right now you could see it in his eyes. When he got in the batter's box in the 10th inning, I thought, well, game's over. The Bogaerts isn't going to do anything here. And that's fine for me to think. That's not fine for Xander Bogaerts to think. And that's all I'm seeing on his face right now. It is a rough pit of just a black hole in the lineup. Is he hitting 220 right now on the season?
232. His OPS is 637, I believe. They were talking on the wrap-up show because I know Darn A Trip tweeted it out. Like, it's a real question. Is his OPS going to get above 700 this year? Again this year? I
Probably not.
I mean, there's no confidence. It's there. No one had faith. No shot that a guy getting paid $25 million a year, when they come to the plate with a runner on second, 2 outs, you should feel some faith as a fan that he's going to get on, but he's shown us nothing over the last few seasons to do that. And it's not even like he's been good defensively. It's not like you're not paying
He hasn't
him.
been bad defensively.
He's been bad, but we're not sitting here paying him to be a $25 million a year, solid defensive player. This guy needs to hit. I don't know what you do with it. You can't cut him.
I think you're toast. You're screwed with this Bogaerts contract.
I mean, what do you do? Do you move him down the lineup? Do you put him in the 9 spot to try to hide him and maybe
bench him? At a certain point, you're paying him anyways.
I mean, the text line saying
Make him be a good clubhouse guy. That was part of the reason you brought him over and paid him all that money, is you thought he'd be a captain of this team and a great player.
But who behind him is hitting so well that you have on the bench for the Padres that he's taking time away from? That's the issue. It's like, if they had a bunch of star rookies or guys coming up, like after next year, DeVries is probably getting pulled up. So that means Bogaerts is probably gone. They're probably going to get him off the roster, pay him out, do something just to get him off the team.
Pay him out $100 million plus.
Well,
I haven't done the math.
Like a buyout.
It's not like the Padres have a whole lot of cash ready to go. I think he's on your team.
I mean,
I don't think anyone's taking this contract. If you were going to have to, okay, so like say you moved him and you do the Eric Hosmer thing, which Eric Hosmer had 2 years left on his deal when the Padres moved on from him. So they were okay paying, I think it was $12.5 million for each of the next 2 seasons after Eric Hosmer left their roster. With Bogaerts, you're talking about, you're going to have to eat what, $19-20 million a year for every year he's gone. And that's all going to have to come out at once. I don't think the Padres have that.
I mean, thank God you were able to sign Merrill to the team-friendly deal of the $135 million. I mean, seriously, if he decided to take all the money, that would have been a massive problem, because Bogaerts has been a disaster. And it's just...
seriously, if you were a team out there willing to take a flyer on Bogaerts, what would you actually be willing to pay him? So what would you be willing to pay him while the Padres eat the rest? It would have to depend on who's coming with him.
It depends on the team. Like, if you're not that they would ever trade him to the Dodgers or like the Yankees or someone who wouldn't care.
Well, let's do the Red Sox, because that's where he came from. And we know that Boston wanted to re-sign him. Boston wanted him, and that's why the Padres had to end up paying so much.
I think a team would take him for $10 million a year with prospects.
Oh my God, I don't think so.
With prospects coming back.
Have to be a really, really good prospect. And the Padres are holding on to those, dude, because they already gave up too many of them.
The Padres are going to have to, unfortunately, give up someone good. You're not obviously getting not anyone at the top of the lineup, not Tatis or Merrill, but someone in their system to dump this guy. But you're not doing it right now, because who's coming up? I mean, the texter said earlier, it's true. 1 through 4 gives the Padres production. Every once in a while, 5 through 7 gives them a hit or so. And 8 and 9 are garbage. And this is what happened last year in the playoffs. They were taking it to the Dodgers. They were putting the ball in play, getting on the base pass. They were putting so much pressure there, and the Dodgers were swinging for the fences. And that's why the Padres went up on a 2-1 series lead. Then what changed? 8, 9, and Arias, who was hurt, wasn't hitting. He's hitting a lot better this year. But 8, 9, and 1 weren't hitting. And it was up to Tatis and Machado to do all of it. And that's too much pressure to put on 2 guys to come through.
All right, text line has completely blown up. I don't even know where to start there, but 877-767-4760. We'll take some calls today. We'll leave the phone lines open if you want to chat. I know it's a tricky time with people at work, but 951 says, Larry Joe here. There were a lot of questionable moves or lack thereof last night, like really going to pinch hit Lockridge for Wade because of the lefty-righty matchup. Like, it makes a difference in the outcome between those 2 hitters. If you're doing that, then why not pinch hit Iglesias for Sheets in the 10th in that spot with 2 out and tying run at second? Both opportunities Sheets had hitting with runners in scoring position. He popped out yesterday. And I get 951's being a little tongue-in-cheek there, because Gavin Sheets has been one of your best options with runners in scoring position all year long. It's brutal, man, what's going on. 619, God, we need Duran because Lockridge is supposed to be the better option out in left field. Embarrassing. Plus, he can't hit at all.
Well,
one game. This is one game last night.
No, it's what? No, but it's a. it's one game. Yes, it's one game. Again, the Padres could win today and tomorrow, and we're coming and going, wow, they beat the Dodgers in 3-game set. Really good job. But last night, what was frustrating about that, it's not like they just lost a great game to the Dodgers, even though it was a great game. The issues that we have been talking about all season came to light last night. Left field has been a disaster. And the problem is you're going to need more pitching help. The bullpen was really good outside of, Peralta in the 10th. But I think we knew going into the series, the Dodgers and the Padres bullpens are two of the best in baseball. You're going to need more starting pitching help because we don't know what's going on with you, Darvish. Cease hasn't been amazing all year. We're going to see tonight. We'll get into that in a minute about how much pressure he's on. And Pivetta, the last couple outings has been a little rough, but overall, very good signing on the year. There's other needs, but the left field has to get solved. You can't win a World Series with a left field that not only doesn't give production batting, but you don't know if they're going to catch the ball. You don't know if they're going to sell you in World Series. They could have a Yankees meltdown in Game 5 with this left field that they got right now.
It's bad. I think there were 2 errors credited to the Padres last night, and I can count 5 plays where maybe it's not an error by the books, but it's an error that leads to something for the Dodgers. One of those 5 was that play at second, which actually didn't lead to anything because Manny Machado saved some ass. All right, Dylan Cease going tonight for the Padres. I actually think this is the biggest night of Dylan Cease's Padres season so far this year. He has not been very good. In fact, he's been bad at times. But Dylan Cease can change the narrative around with one really good performance tonight. He needs to be the stopper. You talk about that a lot when it comes to aces for teams. If you remember with the Padres, this is 5 years ago now, Dinelson Lamet had a really, really nice season with the Padres. And I know that's reaching back to before the Padres were relevant, but he made his name by pitching really, really well when the Padres hit a little bit of a skid. That's what Dylan Cease needs to be tonight. I'm not saying the one game last night was a skid. I'm saying the Padres team that we've seen over the last month, even though they've been winning a lot of close games, has been in a bit of a skid, been in a bit of a funk, been without Fernando Tatis Jr. doing normal Fernando Tatis Jr. things. Dylan Cease has an opportunity to have an inspiring performance tonight against a team who he really struggled. I believe in 2 games in the NLDS a year ago, he racked up a 14.8 ERA or something. I looked at it this morning.
They put him on short rest in the Game 4 in Petco, and he got demolished by Mookie in the first inning, and then Ohtani got to him on the thing. So
it's big for Dylan Cease tonight.
It's also big for the team. Not only does this Dodgers series
need him to go 6 or 7 innings.
The whole pen was used. So outside of Jason Adam, but Jason Adam has desperately needed some time off. Thank God he had a big performance on Sunday against the Brewers in the 8th inning when he had a 1-2-3 there in the 8th. But he has to give you some length. The Dodgers are with the bullpen game. The Dodgers are all hurt. They showed a graphic on the thing last night. They have a starting rotation and a bullpen that is completely hurt that's there. The Padres have to capitalize on this right now. They're going with the bullpen today. So if Cease can give you a lot of length and you burn a lot of the Dodger arms heading into tomorrow, the Dodgers certainly want to have a lot of length today because I know they're not feeling – Wrobleski's a talented guy, but you're not, I think, on the road in Petco feeling great about Wrobleski going super deep in the game tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised. This game's going to come down to who can pitch better. Kasperius is going to go for a long time for the Dodgers because he's kind of their long relief, but also a really good guy. And Cease. If Cease can put out a gem, and he has been known to do this at times, Cease does step up in the biggest moments against the team that demolished him in the playoffs last year. Big night for Dylan Cease, especially considering that we don't know when Yu Darvish is coming back.
You got to see like 7 innings, 1 run by Cease tonight. I think that's what you need to see from him, and hopefully you get it. 858 since May 16th, Machado has had 4 hits with runners in scoring position. Bogarts has had 1, Tatis 0. Bogarts has been more productive than Tatis since May 16th. That's embarrassing. I don't know if that stat's real, but I'm going to trust our texters on that one, and that is a big, big problem. 619, Hosmer is actually still on the books. He finally comes off this year. Oh, great. Hosmer cashing it. Do you have that sound effect still? Will Eric Hosmer be an all-star this season? Maybe he could be for the Padres because I think they're paying him $12.5 million this year. Oh, man. What a web we weave. Yay? Nay?
Will Eric Hosmer be an all-star this season?
The answer is no.
We had to play that one today.
He's an all-star podcaster. That's what he is now. I actually like Eric Hosmer's podcast. I think he does a good job.
He's got a lot of hot takes for a guy that is not very good.
He
was good with the Royals.
Did you tell me that Jackson Merrill is doing Mookie's podcast today?
Yeah, I was watching it a little bit earlier. They were kicking it. They look like they're in some nice country club right there.
I hate that so much. I know I shouldn't. I know it's 2025, but the fan bases despise each other.
it's funny because basketball has been crushed, and rightfully so. The NBA is someone who loves the NBA, but it is frustrating when you see guys like in playoff series just changing jerseys and just chopping it up after because they're on the Olympics teams together. At least in basketball, they have the decency to wait till after the game to do it. Baseball is the only sport where, I mean, they're on like first and second. And they're just like having a full on conversation.
I hate it.
So like, I get it's a long season. I'm not going to sit here and crush them for it. Like, hey,
I also want to hang out with Mookie Betts. He seems like a really cool guy.
Yeah.
Dude's like a 300 bowler. He seems awesome. But I hate the fact that Jackson Merrill is sitting down on a couch with Mookie Betts right now.
I don't have a problem with it. It's just it's a funny look when
I know I shouldn't have a problem with it, but I do.
I don't have a problem with it now in June. It's a little odd, like in the playoffs. If we're seeing this, it's like, okay, like it's time to lock in. But you know,
at least they're both under contract for the foreseeable future, so there's no
at least
on.
Mookie and Merrill for their respective teams show up. And when guys who don't show up are there chopping it up, you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I watched the 10th inning last night and Jackson Merrill hit a double. And it was a really nice hit. He squared it up, sent it out to right field. Where's that, Manny and Bogarts? All right. It's San Diego Sports 760. This has been a little bit of a negative show. Let's revitalize this thing. We got long shots coming up next. Sammy has been on fire. Last night was a little we went off the wayward path. So we're gonna
it was a blip on the radar.
Back on track today. We got to set Sammy up nicely for Vegas because he needs some extra spending cash after he spent all his money on shirts. Long shots coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. It's the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. I'm sure John and Jim will be talking plenty of Padres Dodgers as well. We'll get back to it coming up in hour number 2. Kevin Acee is going to join the show coming up at 1:30 today. Dirk Bentley 4-pack of tickets coming up right after Long Shots today. But Sammy Long does this every day where at 12:45 we do something called Long Shots where he puts together a daily fantasy sports lineup that you can take. You can leave it, whatever you want. We use Prize Picks. You can use whatever daily fantasy sports platform you want, but we're going to get Sammy's Long Shots in just a second. I see the ever-present question on ESPN that they like to bring up every once in a while of which sport has the best athlete. You ask 10 different professional athletes, you're probably going to get 10 different answers, but can we just put this to bed once and for all?
It's not baseball.
It's not baseball.
Obviously.
It might be basketball. Basketball in terms of jumping the highest, running the fastest, sure. But if we're taking like grudge match style, take the 10 best from the NFL, 10 best from the NBA, 10 best from baseball, 10 best from tennis, 10 best from the UFC, I'm probably picking NFL in a fight. If we're going Anchorman style.
Yeah.
Even like UFC.
Definitely.
Because the NFL guys are just bigger.
Well, you got to take boxers and UFC fighters out of it. They would kill anyone.
But I'm talking like 10 on 10 on 10 on 10 on 10 in an open field.
It doesn't matter. They would take them out with one. They know how to punch.
Yeah, you're telling me you're going to stop Saquon Barkley by just throwing a punch?
I'm sorry. You think Canelo Alvarez is scared of Saquon Barkley?
Full speed, Saquon Barkley running downhill at you.
Canelo Alvarez's right hand, lights out.
I don't
know. Good
night.
Man. You're not breathing. You're done. That's not even a question.
I'm going to say NFL has the best athletes.
I would go athletes, NBA, because if you look at name an NBA player outside of Jokic and Luka last year that was not cut up. It was not like 6-pack abs, super fit. Baseball is certainly not it.
Yeah, put any NBA player in a 40-yard dash against any running back in the NFL. I'm taking the running back.
Yeah, but if you're talking about NFL, like offensive linemen would be horrible.
Are amazing athletes
for their size. But if you say get on a basketball court,
I think they'd handle some business. I really do.
I'm not talking bad on. No one loves the NFL more than me. I'm just saying that I if you're talking best pure athlete in terms of like physical physique, give me the NBA.
Now, hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things in the world. In sport, hitting a baseball.
Yeah, but okay, you're telling me that like Max Muncy is a professional athlete. You're telling me Max Muncy is going to stay in front of someone on a basketball court? No.
I really do. I hate it when the Padres play the Dodgers because it means I have to look at Max Muncy's face.
Vito just said UFC are the best athletes. He just tweeted that at us. I mean, it's true. If you're talking about a fight, like it's not even close. UFC fighters or boxers,
they're just so much smaller than anyone in the NFL. Okay, I get it. They can punch. All right.
No. We're going to get to long shots, but 1 second. Did you see the that idiot Bradley Martin, that big bodybuilding guy?
He has a beard.
Yeah, with the podcast.
Yeah,
Devin Haney, the boxer, was on it, and because he weighs like 300 pounds, all bodybuilder. He's like, I would whoop your ass. Haney's like, I weigh 140 pounds, I would kill you. And he goes, no, you wouldn't. He goes, it wouldn't matter because if you got him, he would punch him and his lights would go out. It's over. They don't know how to take a shot. People that think because they watch the UFC or boxing that they can take a shot are delusional.
That's a good point. I don't think I could stand up for more than a half second if anyone punched me.
You were out for a year on an acorn.
That's true. I mean, it was really my own butt that broke my leg, but the acorn caused the slip. Let's get the long shots.
The chicken or the egg?
Let's make us all some money, Sammy. Hit the button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait. Got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
Sammy, in golf when they throw a little bit of grass up in the air to try to see which way the wind's going, or if it's like prime 2008 Tiger Woods, his caddy will hold the cigarette up in the air to see which way the wind is going. I was just doing that in my head right now to think about what's on the sports calendar tonight. And we don't have much.
Yeah, this is a pretty
hockey night off. NBA Finals night off.
This long shots is all baseball. It's actually all pitchers.
I think there's lots of WNBA action today.
Yeah, no, I need to lock into that and get some good bets. But right now, I only have baseball. So tomorrow we'll have some hockey with it. And by the way, that game was crazy last night. But we'll get to that later.
Dude, how many fights on the ice can happen at one time?
You see McDavid get lit up?
I think it was every player on the ice at one time was in a fight.
So good.
Including a couple refs. That was crazy.
All right. 3-pick parlay. all baseball. We're going to go. I know people have said don't use the Padres, but I got to use the Padres because they're one of the teams playing tonight. We're all going to be watching, and I feel confident about this pick. Dylan Cease, not strikeouts, 16.5 pitching outs, more than.
Wait, do math with me real quick.
16.5 pitching outs. So
5 times 3 is 15, so he needs to get into the 6th inning.
Yes. He doesn't have
2 outs.
He doesn't have a choice. Whether Cease plays terrible or he's fantastic, they don't have anyone to go to. Like if he gets shelled in this game, they're going to leave him in because why would you take him out? You're trying to win a game in this series. The bullpen was completely taxed yesterday. I think Schilt's going to leave him in no matter what. I think Cease is actually going to have a decent performance tonight considering how big of a game this is. But 16.5 pitching outs, I think this is very manageable for Dylan Cease. The ace on this staff should be able to get more than 16.5 pitching outs. I'm just saying.
Are you saying Dylan Cease is the ace?
He should be the ace.
He hasn't been.
He wants to get paid like he's the ace, so he should be the ace.
That's another layer to this year for Dylan Cease. He's on a contract year.
Like this is a big game for him. This is a game people are going to look at considering how poorly he played against the Dodgers last year and needing some get back. And the Padres need a win tonight.
I like the pick. So he needs to go 6 2/3.
Yes, I feel, or 5 2/3.
5 2/3.
5
correct.
2/3.
He needs to get into the 6th inning.
More than 16.5 pitching strikeouts. We're heading over to the Cardinals, who won on a walk-off grand slam last night after the Padre-Dodger game was over. Pretty crazy game against Seattle. Brandon Pfaadt, more than 4.5 pitcher strikeouts for Brandon Pfaadt. Brandon Pfaadt's a pretty nice young pitcher, actually, for Arizona. Kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit out there with Corbin Burns coming over in free agency. You got Merrill Kelly. You got Zach Gallen. So he's the 4th starter, but he had a really nice season last year. They're going to be relying on him a lot more now that Corbin Burns is out for the year. Had that Tommy John surgery, unfortunately. You hate to see that. And Gallen and Kelly's been struggling a little bit this year. So Pfaadt really needs to pick it up. Diamondbacks have been playing better baseball recently. They went on a little bit of a run. The last week's been tough. But Brandon Pfaadt, especially considering the game went pretty late yesterday, the game went into extra innings. Bullpen's a little bit taxed. Brandon Pfaadt, more than 4.5 pitcher strikeouts for him versus Seattle out there in Arizona. And then we're going to go Tampa Bay at Boston. Pretty crazy game yesterday. The number 1 prospect in all of baseball, Roman Anthony, gets called up. Unfortunately for him, actually has an error in the outfield because he didn't have the right glove. He misses it. They end up losing the game. He did have an RBI on it, but it was pouring rain last night. Ryan Pepio for Tampa Bay, former Dodger, 5 pitcher strikeouts more than. Quietly, no one paid attention to the Rays. Ryan Pepio has been a pretty nice pitcher the last couple of years. He had 8 strikeouts in his last outing. Did not hit this number the previous 3 outings before. I think in Boston, he's going to have a big performance. He has to. He's one of the best pitchers on this staff. Try to save the pen and get a win, especially considering that game went late as well yesterday. So we're kind of going with the theme here. Games that went to extra innings. Pitching staff needs to go well, relying on the starter to give a little length here. So just to recap, Ryan Pepio, more than 5 pitcher strikeouts. Brandon Pfaadt, more than 4.5 pitcher strikeouts. And Dylan Cease, more than 16.5 pitching outs. Fletch, how are we feeling?
I like it. How do you spell the last dude's name?
Ryan Pepio, Pepiot.
Pep. There he is.
Big
and it
Ryan.
was strikeouts. What was it?
5. He needs more.
Okay, I dig it. By the way, you mentioned the walk-off grand slam. Who hit that, by the way, Sammy?
Josh Naylor.
Josh Naylor. What team did he used to play for?
San Diego Padres.
Oh, those guys.
By the way, someone on our text line, I think it was 619 a couple weeks ago, said that they wanted Josh Naylor back.
Dude,
So
I want Josh Naylor back. The dude is electric.
I want someone who can hit the ball past the 4th spot in the lineup.
That would be nice, wouldn't
Anyone.
it? Not
Anyone.
named Gavin Sheets.
Yeah, past the 5th spot. We'll include Gavin's earned the trust of the team. Besides that, it's a tough watch, the back end of the lineup.
Man, I'm kind of going back and forth on this Cease one, but I think I like it.
No, I'm telling you, Schilt has to.
I know he has to.
Who are they going to put in? Adam needs rest. You're not going to, if he comes in today, which he probably will, he's going to need 1 inning. Suarez will be coming back in because he only went 10 pitches last night, but Morejon's probably not coming back in tonight. I would be surprised if we put Wandy Peralta back out there. I think that would be a experiment that people are not with. So I feel like he's got to go away. I think Cease is also the kind of pitcher that will step up in a big game.
I hope so. At least he has the beard back. If he shaves it before tonight's game, I'm going to riot. I swear. Text line, you are completely out of control. And this is one of the more insane things I've ever seen. We'll see what we can actually read coming up in hour number 2. If you want to go see Dirk Bentley on June 19th out at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, Call us right now, 877-767-4760. Caller number 6. You're going to go see Dierks Bentley June 19th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. If you want to buy tickets, you can at Ticketmaster.com. It's San Diego Sports 760, hour number 2, and Kevin Acee coming up next.
This sport is sponsored by WhatsApp. Padres was a tough one last night, 8-7, but they're back tonight at 6:40. Dylan Cease is on the mound for the Padres, while the Dodgers are going with a bullpen game. The run total is set at 8.5. The Dodgers are currently even on the money line, while the Padres are -120. And big news out of the boxing world: Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Bud Crawford are officially landing on Netflix September 13th. The venue is still to be determined. This will be for all the super middleweight titles in the world. Wondering what a personal message with your credit card number has in common with way too many pictures of your dog? Well, they're both private, because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even them. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
Sammy's going to Vegas this weekend for his birthday. He wants everyone to know about it.
Not for my birthday.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
No, it's
Going to Vegas, and it happens to be my birthday.
Hey, Sammy, why are you going to Vegas? Well, it's my birthday, so,
No.
By midnight, honey, we're gonna be up 500 by midnight.
We're not doing the roast yet, even though that is very funny, and Sammy does look like the little kid from Stuart Little who grew up.
You look somewhat like a mouse.
So what do I look like?
Some people have said that I look like Rowley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Ralphie from A Christmas Story combined.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Now it's time to enter the Fletch Zone.
And it's hour number 2. Long ways to go here on San Diego Sports 760. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. Thank you for being here. We sure do appreciate it. Text line has gone to another realm. Can I read any of that, Sammy? It seems like they're trying to trap me.
Text line is filthy, and I'm all here for it.
Like, is this the most recent one from the 484 here? Is this a trap? Am I going to be stumbling into something?
484?
Yeah, the first one that came in.
I don't
the
think
top one.
The chipmunk?
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
It feels like a trap. And that's Handyman Matt. I know Handyman Matt's always trying to
I'll
give
read
me.
it. I don't care.
Go for it.
484. Fletch, who is your least favorite chipmunk? Alvin, Theodore, Simon?
I mean, they all kind of sound annoying.
You never saw the Alvin and the Chipmunks?
I've seen Alvin and the Chipmunks. Of course I have. I'm not a insane person living under a rock.
484. Yeah, I feel like there's a plot going on here.
I'm just going to say Simon because it feels like he's always the one that gets in the way of everything good happening.
Alvin's a fame junkie. Alvin's always up there trying to be, look at me, I'm the star. You know, it's like pipe down.
I don't know, 484. I don't know what your game is right now, but I don't think I'm interested in playing.
There are some fantastic texts that unfortunately are not good for FCC airwaves.
Yeah, the 949 with the Caitlyn Jenner text. Like, that is a 10 out of 10 text, dude, but we're not going to say that. That'd be crazy.
No. We're not going to get canceled today.
That's a 10 out of 10 text, though. I'm glad that you sent that in. 949 also saying, are we doing historic or current athletes? Because Andre the Giant would destroy everyone. That's
wrestlers are interesting.
Dude, I mean, think about Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dude's a top 10 athlete all time, sure. John Cena.
Can I have a take that's going to really piss some people off?
Please do. I love that.
I think it's...
Wait, this better actually piss people off. You can't just say that.
No, it's going to piss people off. It's going to piss people off.
Is it about WWE?
Yeah. It frustrates me when I see top 10 athletes all time and there's WWE on there. Like, it's fake. They're not athletes. They're actors.
They're absolutely athletes.
But they're not actual wrestlers.
But they're absolutely athletes.
I'm not saying
they're actually jumping 30 feet in the air and falling.
Well, again, actors can do that. Tom Cruise jumps out of planes.
For sure. Tom Cruise is a great athlete.
Actor. Tom Cruise is a phenomenal actor. I have a problem when people go, oh, my favorite athlete of all time is Ric Flair. Ric Flair is fantastic. I love Ric Flair, but he's a showman. Woo! He's not really what I call an athlete.
That's fair that you can think that way, Sammy. I totally get that.
I text her about to start rolling in. I'm gonna get off for saying that.
All right, let's see. 858 says, technically, if Hosmer is off the books after this season, can we just replace him with Booger Farts? I believe that is Bogarts, but with a new nickname. The problem is, yes, Hosmer is coming off the books, but he's on the books for $12.5 million. Xander would be on the books for $25 million. Do the Padres actually kind of have that cash floating around to make that happen? And I hate to point the finger at Peter Seidler and AJ Preller, but this is their signing, man. And obviously, no one could forecast a guy like Xander Bogaerts falling from MVP contention, which is what he was in Boston, to whatever this is now. As the text line so graciously puts it, Booger Farts. It's a little day class A for me. I don't know if I'm going to jump in on Booger Farts, but it's funny.
I'm surprised. I thought you'd be all over that, knowing you.
I mean, it's a good name. Maybe Kevin Acee will put that in his next headline. Kevin Acee, by the way, is going to be joining the show coming up at 1:30. But right now, it is time. We had to cut this short in hour number 1 because we got off on the Padres and Dodgers game for Big 3 hour number 2, where Sammy Long takes us through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
We're almost at 400 on the stream, which is pretty good for this point in the show. If you want to jump in, you can find us on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760, on X at Fletch and Sammy. We'd love to see you there, interact with the show there. Jamar has been all over our YouTube page today saying things like, last night's game was a display of elite defense. Teoscar Hernandez attempt, or whatever that was in right field, leading to the bases clearing triple. Pajes hits a left field, should have been caught, but it made the game more exciting. Yeah, errors always make things more fun.
It's true. It was a pretty rough night for fielding grounders and catching pop flies last night.
And borderline striker ball calls.
Yeah.
All right, where are we going with hour 2, Sammy?
So we have a Lakers story that I got very excited for that broke 20 minutes ago.
On a parody X account?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, a lot of people know who this is. There's an X account called NBA Central, which is legit, has multiple millions of followers, has all the NBA breaking stories.
It's an aggregator. It takes stuff from Windhorst. It took stuff from Woj when he was still doing things from everywhere, and they put together. It's like the Dove Cleavemans of the NFL.
Exactly. Now, there's an account called NBA Centel who does parody stuff, but they post it so it looks legit, so people get duped. Colin Cowherd has gotten duped. He has read stories on air.
I've gotten duped.
I have too. So it's a funny account. They got banned. They got back. Anyway, so that's a little context. So NBA Centel, again, not the real account, puts a report the Los Angeles Lakers have emerged as serious contenders to land Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, he retweets this, NBA Centel, because Giannis got duped, thought this was NBA Central, and liked the post about him going to Los Angeles. Fletch, you take this first because I'm too excited to even.
So in your twisted little brain over there, Sammy, you are thinking that because Giannis liked that, that means Giannis actually is interested in going to Los Angeles and hopes that this is a real story.
Yeah.
Now, in what world is this a real story? Do the Lakers have the capital to move to get Giannis? Do the Lakers have the infrastructure set up afterwards to host Giannis, LeBron, and Luka with all three of their contracts on the same team at one time? Like, is that something that could feasibly happen? I'm genuinely asking because I don't know.
It would require some maneuvering. Now, in NBA, you have to match salaries, so you can't just trade. You can't just trade a couple, like someone who makes $15 million for someone who makes 55. Now, I'm sure LeBron would take a pay cut to get to go play with Luka and Giannis, considering that they probably become title favorites. Here's the problem the Lakers have. This is why the Giannis to the Lakers things, in all seriousness, before this tweet, if this becomes a thing, is had a little cold water on it. They don't have the package of picks that the Rockets or the Spurs or a couple other teams would be able to provide for, just in terms of the amount of packages. They don't have the same amount. The Lakers are going to be a good team. Their picks are not going to be in the top. The Rockets in Spurs could offer top 5 picks as well as young players, Stephon Castle, Jabari Smith, Jalen Green. So that the Lakers have the thing of offering Austin Reeves. I don't want to trade Austin Reeves, but if it's for Giannis, you trade Austin Reeves.
Would it have to be Austin Reeves and Dalton Connect and other pieces?
Picks, could be tons of stuff. But the only way he becomes a Laker or a Knick really is if he goes, I don't want to play in a small market like I played in Milwaukee, and I want to go to LA or New York. That changes things because then all of a sudden San Antonio, there's no trade clauses in the NBA. Then San Antonio or Houston might be less likely to offer all that stuff because if Giannis goes, I'm not re-signing with you, I'm going to leave in free agency in a year or two, that changes what they would give up for him.
Now, here's where my brain goes with Giannis liking this tweet. He knew that it was the fake account. He knew that this would catch people like me and Sammy. We see it on social media, and then we start to talk about things like this. I think Giannis wants to be a Laker. I think Giannis is making this as the kind of soft intro, like, oh, look at me. I accidentally liked a tweet from a parody account, but I think Giannis wants this to happen.
Well, he's a big-time athlete that has a lot of influence.
In a crappy market.
He knows that social media presence and being smart about what you like and stuff is a real thing. He wouldn't like this if this wasn't a thing. But, again, for him to be a Laker, he would have to say, I want to play with Luka in L.A., trade me the Lakers, or you can trade me wherever, but I'm not signing a long-term contract. That's how it gets done, and it would be very exciting.
Can we do boxing for story number 2? Because I think we're probably going to get back to Padres before Kevin, so this might be the only chance we get to talk about it. But yes. Huge event announced.
Just about to say it. Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, mega fight September 13th on Netflix. It is official. It's being promoted by Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh. It'll be September 13th. The venue still, they don't know. It's either going to be in Vegas, LA, or New York.
I thought I saw it was Vegas.
It's Vegas because it says TBD.
I saw it was Vegas on Terrence Crawford's post.
Okay. Well, if it is, they're talking about Allegiant Stadium, the first fight at Allegiant Stadium. This is a massive deal. I mean, you're talking about Terrence Crawford, who took out Errol Spence for all the belts at welterweight, moved up and fought Israel Madrimov at 154. Canelo Alvarez, who has been not only the boxing pound-for-pound king in terms of money and sales, but also for the UFC. There's not a guy in combat sports that generates more dollars than Canelo Alvarez does. And this is a complete clash of styles. Crawford will be moving up to 168 to fight him. These are two of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world, so whoever wins this fight will be number one. This fight is fascinating because you have two of the best counterpunchers in the entire sport. Canelo Alvarez is one of the best counterpunchers of all time, and Crawford can switch it. He can go orthodox, southpaw. This is a truly pick-em fight. I get that Canelo's a slight favorite at minus 150 because of the size. We don't know if Crawford can hurt him, but in the last fight that we saw with Canelo Alvarez, he couldn't cut off the ring against a guy that didn't show up to fight, was kind of just to win a belt. It was a pretty bad, pretty ugly performance a couple months ago. So this one's going to be fun. This is going to be on that Mayweather-Pacquiao level where, especially with it being free.
So that's the two questions I have about this are A, is it going to be free if it's on Netflix? There's not going to be an additional charge. So this is going to be a la Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Anyone can watch it.
Anyone, if you have Netflix, you have it. If you sign up for Netflix at $12 a month, you will have the fight.
What a huge get for Netflix is my first thought. Second thought, what is this the biggest fight since? Because I texted you this morning and literally said, is this lame or is this cool? I don't know the boxing world like you know the boxing world, and you're stoked about this. You're a kid on Christmas morning expecting a PS5. This
is the fight that people, the casual fans, will be tuning in for. This will be leading Sports Center. Will be a big deal. Mayweather Pacquiao, Canelo has the same brand of Floyd. Crawford probably doesn't have the same branding of Pacquiao in terms of people know him, but Crawford is a big star, especially the last couple of years. And in terms of a pick'em fight, it's rare in fighting, in boxing and UFC, especially in boxing. This has hurt boxing for many years. Not getting 50-50 fights, it's a coin flip. This is a coin flip kind of fight. I don't know you compare it to Mayweather-McGregor because that was a spectacle. Everyone watched that because you have Floyd and McGregor, two of the best talkers in all combat sports.
Hell, 60 million people watched Jake Paul, Mike Tyson.
Right, but no one who knew anything about fighting thought that McGregor had any chance to beat Mayweather. They talk about the power. Manny Pacquiao and Miguel Cotto and Sugar Shane Mosley all had more power than McGregor did in boxing. So that was never a thing. They were trying to push the storyline. What if he knocked Floyd out in the first minute? That was never happening. That was snowball's chance in hell that was going to happen. This is a legit fight that we're getting the best fighting the best, and it's something that's evaded boxing for so long. And it's funny, now that Dana White is in boxing, you're seeing what's happening. Dana White, for all his not paying the fighters, all this stuff, he makes the top guys in the UFC fight the other top guys in the UFC, and hopefully he can bring that same kind of stuff to boxing.
And good for Netflix, man. This is after Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, which was a joke. Once we all started watching it, I think we knew about 10 seconds in that it was a joke. This sounds like it's certainly going to be a huge, huge event. I wonder if they can eclipse that 60 million worldwide.
Because of it being free. If it was pay-per-view, I don't know that you would eclipse that because of the brand of McGregor. The B-side of, I guess McGregor would be the B-side in that fight, was bigger than Crawford. But this being free and how good of a fight it is, they could have charged $80 and they would still have a big pay-per-view. But they're not.
What was the date on that?
September 13th.
September 13th. That is around the time of September 4th, which is the kickoff of the NFL season, which is 85 days, 10 hours, 45 minutes, and 28 seconds away. Had to get that in. Kevin Acee coming up at 1:30 today. Back to Padres Dodgers we go. A little preview of Game 2. More reaction on the text line from Game 1 that was last night. We'll get to it all here at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper over at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Give Gary a call today, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. And Gary, it feels like every day we get news about a different home buying program. You have any new fun ones for us?
Well, I wouldn't call them new, but I would call them improved. One of my lenders that I work closely with is offering no loan level pricing adjustments on credit scores. What that means to you, that if you're a veteran or if you're doing a home purchase under the FHA or VA program, there are no hits or pricing hits to the interest rate with credit scores down to 580. And I'm going to say that again. If you have credit scores that are 580 or above, there's no additional pricing adds or hits that there typically and traditionally is to help you get into your home. So, I mean, seriously, 580 credit scores or above, you're not going to get any hits on your pricing, and that's going to help you be able to qualify for more home.
Get straight mortgage answers by calling Mountain Trust Mortgage at 858-376-1299. Again, 858-376-1299. Call Gary Cooper today. Tell him Fletch sent you. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Kevin Acee is going to be jumping on the show in about 10 minutes. Our Padres insider. We chat with him every single Tuesday. There's lots of reaction from the big three here. So 858 says, off of the NBA Centel story that Giannis Antetokounmpo liked on Twitter, NBA Centel parody account, Giannis Antetokounmpo liked a tweet from them linking him to the Los Angeles Lakers. 858 says, trade LaFlop and Junior for Giannis straight up.
LaFlop and Junior.
I believe he's talking about LeBron James, correct?
Yeah.
He also says Bron's ego is too big to take a pay cut, and I agree with that wholeheartedly.
That's interesting. Now,
if LeBron wanted to take a pay cut, he would have already taken a pay cut.
The Bucks would never. They don't want LeBron because they're not a contending team, and LeBron's 41. That wouldn't really do anything for them. They would want Reeves, Connect, picks, things like that. But yeah, it would be. Now, that would be interesting because LeBron pulled this last year where he was like, I'm going to take a pay cut through the thing, but only for Valanciunas, Harden, or Klay Thompson. Harden and Klay Thompson, they had to trade for. So he really didn't help the Lakers at all because all he did was make it harder. It went public. All those teams knew that the only way he was taking a pay cut was if they traded. So they just held him hostage on the picks and said, we wanted an enormous amount of package for an old Klay Thompson and an old James Harden. But the only way Giannis gets to LA is if he says, I want to be a Laker, which is something that
seems like he kind of already did.
Seems like he's saying.
Talking about a parody account. Also, earlier in the show, we got off on a tangent about who are the best athletes in professional sports. 858 saying sleeping on soccer for athleticism is actually insane. Endurance, soccer, and tennis are tops. Hell, endurance, water polo is damn near the top. But soccer guys, and I really have started to really enjoy watching soccer with SDFC being here. But soccer guys are just not big enough to be in the conversation.
Well, there's a difference between who's going to win in an all-out brawl or best athletics. Because that's true. Soccer, yes. I mean, those guys are running.
Let's talk about marathon runners.
Yeah, but soccer, the fact that you are running 7 to 8 miles and you're not even breaking. But I'm still going basketball. If I'm going I'm going NBA stars.
Dude, in a fight, Kevin Durant would snap. 858 says NFL has the best raw athletes, but the average NBA athlete is ahead of NFL. I would agree. Dude, you go all the way down the NBA. Like the dudes who are number 11 on a team who never touch the court are some of the best athletes on the planet.
That's why I have an age. I have friends. We're going to use the Padres and Dodgers here.
Who was the tall white dude on the Lakers that was making like $60 million sitting on the bench? Was it Vanderbilt?
Years ago?
Jared Vanderbilt?
No. He's a defender. Are you talking about years ago? Mozgov,
Timothy.
So bad.
How much money was he making?
It's a $64 million contract. He was so bad. Those were the dark days.
That was so funny though, because the camera would find him every game and he's just sitting there. You could almost picture him just counting 1, 2.
The Lakers literally for about 6 years paid Roy Hibbert, who was trash by the time he got there, and then Carlos Boozer, and then him. Those were dark days.
I'm curious about college basketball this year if Roy Hibbert's keeping his job because he was not great as a studio analyst.
Interesting desk choice.
Oh, man. All right, Padres, Dodgers, game 2 coming up tonight. I think it's a huge night for Dylan Cease. I really do. Have we exhausted everything from last night? Is there anything else you want to jump into, Sammy, from last night's game? Defensive errors, questionable decisions from Mike Shildt.
You said it. Last night, I think Mike Shilt's not getting enough blame. We went into that. I think Suarez should have stayed in the game, especially against 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Dodgers. I understand the argument saving them. It's not like it was Ohtani and Betts and Freeman up again where you're like, he burned 10 pitches. I think we should go with something else.
But if you put him out there last night for a second inning, there's no shot he's going tonight. Whereas last night he gets out with 10 pitches, you could use Suarez again tonight.
With revisionist history, does Pages get the hit off Suarez? I don't know. Certainly,
That's a good point.
Certainly a tougher out, and considering that the Padres went and scored with Merrill, maybe we're talking about a walk-off win. Again, it's revisionist
Should Pages' hit even have been a hit?
No, that's
should have been caught in left field.
To be fair to Peralta, to be fair to him, he's been getting destroyed on X today, and I get it. It's not like he was good. He wasn't good because then he gave up the one off the bag to Edman. That was a weird hop, but he still gave up the hit. That would have been a single anyway. It should have been caught. I mean, it was really Lockridge's fault. I don't know what kind of angle that was.
So now, like the Padres have to do today, it's time to flush last night and look forward to tonight because you got the Dodgers for 2 more here. And you're in a situation like Sammy and I've been telling you this whole season, every game is getting more important because of how tight the race is in the National League West. You can't afford to be given some buffers here, especially if you have aspirations to go into the postseason in the best possible situation, which that would be winning the NL West, which is in reach. Just to make that very clear, this is not one of those years where it's the Dodgers are just going to run away with it. It feels like it's a little more in reach this year. You need some things to go your way. You need some things to go against the Dodgers, but that's been happening so far. Padres winning a lot of 1-run games, Dodgers getting hurt everywhere. So today, going into it, Dylan Cease, who has not pitched against the Dodgers since the NLDS a year ago, where he really struggled twice against the Dodgers, and one of them was on short rest. We kind of killed Schulte for that at the time too. But Dylan Cease, that is the last taste he has in his mouth from the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the Padres are in a situation tonight where, having burned a ton of their bullpen a night ago, you need him to get into the 7th inning. I would imagine that is how Shildt has it drawn up here tonight. And can Dylan Cease do that? Who's really struggled this year in a contract season? This is an opportunity for him to not only show Padres fans, but to show teams around Major League Baseball who are ready to write checks this offseason that Dylan Cease is a guy worth paying.
Totally. And this is a bigger conversation because the Padres got an off day Thursday after this series, and you got the Diamondbacks, which is a very important series there, and then the Dodgers again. But after this Thursday day off, there's like a 11-day stretch that they're playing, or so. I don't quote me on that. I got to look, but there's a stretch of days. There's not really an off day next week. So I
think they go 13 in a row again.
13 in a row. So you can't afford for Pivetta to be going that short. Cease has to give you length. Anything you get from your Vasquez's, your Koleks, your Bergert, which is crazy because they performed so well over the weekend.
Yeah, Bergert's been awesome. Two starts for him. He's been great.
That's why you were looking at this series going pitching advantage against the Dodgers. The Dodgers are only getting healthier. This is a crucial series at Petco. You cannot lose this thing. This is a big game tonight for the boys.
All right, our buddy JV on YouTube saying, don't forget Luke Walton, $12 million a year to learn how to be a coach on the bench for the Lakers.
Yes.
Good point, JV.
100%.
All right, Kevin Acee coming up next, our Padres insider. We'll talk about all this with him and hopefully get updates on Michael King and Yu Darvish and when they could be gracing the mound for the Padres once again. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use promo code Fletch when you do. FLETCH. You're going to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. But Fletch, I don't know what to do for my first $5 entry. Here you go. Dylan Cease, more than 16.5 pitching outs. Brandon Pfaadt, more than 4.5 pitcher strikeouts. And Ryan Peppo, more than 5 pitcher strikeouts.
Pepio.
Sammy, what are we doing with these names today, dude? How do you say that last dude's name?
Ryan Pepio.
Pepio, more than 5 pitcher strikeouts.
Pepio Ikeche.
There you go. There's a lineup for you. You can put that in PrizePicks for $5. Get a $50 bonus after you use promo code Fletch. Today is also a Taco Tuesday, meaning there are discounts on the board all day long. They rotate about every 45 minutes. Take advantage of the promotions. The best part about the PrizePicks app. But when you download it, all you got to do is pick more than or less than on at least 2 players for your shot to win big on PrizePicks. And if you got the skills, you could win some serious cash. I've withdrawn over $5,000 from my PrizePicks account into my bank account safely and securely using Venmo and MasterCard and Apple Pay. All the things PrizePicks has them. Download the app today. Use promo code Fletch and run your game all season long on PrizePicks.
This sport is sponsored by Macy's Backstage. Padres, after dropping game 1 last night, will be back tonight from Petco at 6:40. The Dodgers will be going with a bullpen game, while the Padres will be going with Dylan Cease on the mound. The run total is set at 8.5. The Padres are currently a slight favorite at -120. And the fight is finally scheduled here. Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez for all the belts, super middleweight division 168 will be September 13th in Las Vegas, but the venue has yet to be announced. That will be promoted by Dana White and Turkey Al-Sheikh, and it'll be on Netflix. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? How about essential warm weather styles, just $30 and under, like dresses, shoes, and bags, men's and even kids' looks. Find the latest trends, new arrivals, and great prices at a Macy's Backstage store near you.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
Yeah, it's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. But right now we are joined by our Padres insider, Kevin Acee. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, Fletch and Sam.
How you doing, pal?
Super.
Yeah, Padres got to stop playing these extra inning games so we can get you to bed a little bit earlier.
These extra inning, 1 run. Yeah, it takes a toll, but they're nothing if not exciting. And there was a time when they were kind of a boring team. So, I guess this is fun.
I remember moving to San Diego, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go out to Petco Park for my first Padres game since I officially moved here and became a San Diegan. And I believe Eric Lauer was on the mound for that one. So you remember how that season went, Kev. But let's talk about last night. I thought you did a nice job on your article, kind of talking about all the things that happened in that game and how if one of them changes or one of them goes one way, it could have been a 5-run Dodgers win. It could have been a 4-run Padres win. But the errors, the defensive mistakes by the Padres last night really do seem to tell the story of the night to me. Do you feel the same way?
Yes. I mean, I do. Like they were fortunate in some ways, right? Now you can say, hey, guys made good pitches, whatever, right? But they were fortunate in some ways. I thought it was interesting that, I remember a spate of years, many years, the past decade, the what is that called? Is the aughts, the teens, the era that you were referring to, where that's how the Dodgers beat the Padres. It's kind of like how the Padres have beat bad teams this year. When that team makes mistakes, you capitalize. And, I thought it was interesting that, hey, there they were. They could have won that game after not playing very well. So that was interesting too. So, yeah, it was the story, but then look, they just lost. They lost to a good team. Maybe they were lucky to lose in the 10th. Maybe they were unlucky that Manny Machado had maybe a ball, maybe a strike. I don't know. I don't know what you guys saw on that one. There was just so much. So I guess in the end, my thing was that was a sick game. If I could quote someone much younger than me, Jackson Merrill, using the word sick, which I should not ever use myself.
Kevin, what did you think of Schultz's decisions with the bullpen? Did you agree that he should have took Suarez out after only 10 pitches?
Yeah, I got to be aware of. I think it's a really good question. But I've got to be aware of that. It's a 162 game season. That Suarez has been pitching a lot. That yeah. And here's why I will give Mike Shildt the benefit of the doubt on that almost every time, because he manages to win whenever he can, and he just felt like he couldn't last night. That 10 pitches and that his workload that was enough. And I get it, man. You want Suarez back out there and give your team a chance to win, but that's just a tough one when you have to have Robert Suarez going forward.
Kevin, this is an impossible question to answer, but we're going to ask it anyways. What the hell do you do with Xander Bogaerts?
Yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
You just keep hoping. You keep working with him, let him work, and you just keep hoping. He had a couple chances last night to get us off his back, get the monkey off his back, create a signature moment. He couldn't do it. I don't know that anyone was necessarily surprised because, that's been the history here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My suggestion for the rest of us, me included, though none of us really can. I certainly can. I got to cover this team and kind of have a big picture view is that we just let it go and hope that Xander Bogaerts can be a contributor on the 2025 Padres and save this problem for another day. And if your question's more about what do you do with him this year, I mean, there's not anything. I'm sorry. He's your shortstop.
No, I get that. I mean, moving into the future, is this?
I can't. I mean, yeah, I've said it before. I don't know what you guys have kind of thrown around there. But there's got to be something. There's got to be an Eric Hosmer type money eat or, something, because it's bad. It's a big weight. And look, I feel like I got to say it every time because it's true. This guy was incredible, and I can't believe that this is where we're at. I can't believe it's Hosmer-esque. I mean, you can look back and go, oh, well, did he deserve $25 million and $280 over the life of the contract? We can argue that, but that it's this bad, I just can't believe it. Here's what Padres fans need to hope. He's had good second halves both years he's been here. You need to hope for that this year. That's all.
Do you have any update? I know we ask this every week, but Michael King or you, Darvish?
Bottom line on Michael King is he's not close, and that's just the way it is. And by that, I guess my guess is as good as yours. I mean, maybe a tiny bit better just talking to people, but really no one is offering any clarity on that. I mean, after the All-Star break would seem to be like, if you got him back on that trip after the All-Star break, I think it's a victory at this point. Darvish, progress. And I wrote it today in the newsletter that like he did his second straight up down, which means kind of simulated innings, pitched, sat down, pitched again. So that's a real good sign for a normal rehab. This is not a normal rehab. Darvish is kind of in charge here, kind of when he's ready to come back, he'll come back. That's not to say that he's not trying to. He is trying to. But like, could that be 2 weeks from now? Yep, could be. Might make a start for the All-Star break. That'd be great. Might not.
All right, Kev, let's talk some Dylan Cease, who has struggled a little bit this year, but tonight I feel like Dylan Cease has a golden opportunity. First time he's facing the Dodgers since last postseason in the NLDS, where he faced him twice, but remember the one time was off of really short rest. I think he finished that series with like a 14.25 ERA, something crazy like that. But Dylan Cease, who's in a contract year, who is not playing like he's in a contract year, has an opportunity tonight where it feels like most of the league's eyes will be on this game because it's Dylan Cease going up against the Dodgers to maybe make himself some money this offseason, don't you?
Yeah, remember the last time that Dylan Cease faced the Dodgers and the Dodgers threw a bullpen game? Yeah, that was pretty ugly. The Dodgers have knocked Cease around a little bit, so this is a tough one. I'm with you, yep. But I just, Dylan Cease has reached the point where, like, this rotation's in trouble, and I hate to be that guy, but, like, it is. Like, we just talked about King, talked about Darvish. Pavetta got knocked around last night. Okay, fine. He's been really good this year. The other three guys been really good, but they're young, and who knows what you're going to get out of them every single time. And Dylan Cease is really super important, man. And it's got to pitch like it. So yeah, my answer, I agree with you. Big, huge. But you know what? Let's go out and see it. Haven't seen it from Dylan Cease.
What was last night kind of the last straw for them getting a left fielder? Like, does that make it with all the errors last night?
I think the last straw was there. I think your point I'll agree with. Yeah. But like, we could have said that a few times, right? Gavin Sheets running into a wall, the batting averages, Jason Hayward. Like, it's been a lot of last straws. It's unfortunate. Tyler Wade, they could have been the heroes last night, right? Like Tyler Wade did, and Lockridge could have made the catch, should have made the catch, whatever. Like, could have been a good deal. I'll tell you what, still would have needed a left fielder, still would have been looking for the left fielder, regardless of what happened last night.
Kev, I'm hoping you could kind of talk me through something. And by the way, Kevin Acee, Union Tribune, joining us like he does every Tuesday, our Padres insider. Kev, you ready to play therapist for just a quick second?
Sure. Okay. Yes, I am.
Because
please.
The Padres are 37-28. And if you would have told me in March that the Padres would be 37-28 by the time June 10th rolled around, I would sign up for it in an instant. And I know for a fact AJ Preller would, you would, Sammy would, everyone would sign up for 37-28. That's a pretty damn good record. But something about this team, man, it does not make me feel good watching them play baseball every night and watching them win one-run games and have everything be so precarious. Or I can't remember the exact word you said earlier, but I think it was entertaining. And that's all true. But it feels like this thing can fall apart like a castle of cards.
Yes, it does. Now, you're focusing on the team you follow. There's a lot of people that feel the same way about their team. Though, of course, the statistics bear out that the Padres are playing those types of games. And if you would have said whatever the record is now, 37-28, you probably wouldn't have pictured 7-0. And then what was it, 14-3 or something? So you probably wouldn't have pictured that and then do the math and go, oh, well, shouldn't they be better now? Like, you were probably thinking, hey, yeah, they've kind of just gone along and won, almost every series. And, everything's been cool because you're 9 games over. Super. That's so much better than at this point, 65 games last year or the year before. So great. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Absolutely. How do I talk you off the ledge? It's better than last year and the year before. Yeah. They made the playoffs last year. Guys aren't performing like they should. But I got this cloud hanging over, and I probably should stop the therapy session now because this won't help you. I got this cloud of this starting rotation hanging over this 9 games. So I basically want to affirm you that, you're kind of nervous for the right reasons.
Okay, I'm not crazy. That's good to hear. Now, Kev, before we get you out of here, we can do this super quick. How many All-Stars are on this Padres team right now?
2, Robert Suarez and Manny Machado.
That's it?
I don't know. Am I missing someone?
Gavin Sheets?
Come on. Huge Gavin Sheets guy. But there was a time, and maybe he still could. Absolutely, he still could. Fernando Tatis Jr. still could. 100%. But like right now, I gave you the answer of the two guys, and Gavin Sheets. There's a gulf between really good story and all-star.
All right, yeah, I like the pick. That would be my two
Big
also.
Contributor,
yeah,
and all-star, huge gap.
And honestly, Gavin Sheets is a bonus. You're not expecting this out of Gavin Sheets. All right, man. We sure do appreciate the hell out of you, Kev. Thanks for talking me off the ledge and then putting me right back on it. I appreciate it in a big way. Every week, man. You never fail.
Well done. That's what you paid for, man. That's what you paid for. I need to keep you coming back. Therapy's a scam. No, it's not. Get help if you need it, Fletch. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. The Players Place.
All right, so we're not crazy, Sammy.
That was quite a roller coaster at the end.
Oh yeah, Kevin will do that to you. If he gets uncomfortable, it just goes up and down, up and down.
He said therapy's a scam, but just kidding, get help.
And then he said, get help, Fletch. Tell me I need to be the one going into therapy. He's probably right. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. This is going to be our final break, but there is a comment on the YouTube page that we have to read. Xander Bogaerts is the Padres' Luke Walton. Just with the current value of inflation, he will be a manager one day.
Hey, at least Luke Walton won a title with the Lakers when he was a player.
And here's the thing with Xander Bogaerts, and I will not blame him for this whatsoever. It's baseball. This is not football. He is getting paid every dime of this contract.
Well, that's why people like there's this weird thing with Bogaerts where people like are either get rid of him, they hate him, I can't even
It's
watch
impossible.
him. And then some people are like, oh, don't be mean to him. It's like, well, I'm not talking about the guy personally. Like he seems like a nice guy, but when you're getting paid that much money and like this is why we don't kill Tyler Wade and Brandon Lockridge, even though they sold the game yesterday, because they're not getting paid $25 million a year to hit the ball. They're not.
Like, I think the sentiment of what Kevin was saying about Xander Bogaerts is right. You just have to hope he gets better because guess what? There's no other option. And are we going to go like literally take Xander every day as two guys on the radio? Are we going to take him and put him in the batting cage and say, you have to get better? No, we can't do that. So we just have to hope. And it's a crappy spot to be in, Padres fans. I feel for us. I do.
There's something to be said, though, for moving him down the lineup. There's something to be
said for putting him on the bench. That's probably what I would do. Be like, we're spending this money no matter what.
That is so much better than even Xander at his worst. But if you moved him down the lineup, maybe there's less pressure at the 8 or 9 spot because he's not killing momentum in the middle of the lineup because he can't hit the ball. I mean, last night, everyone knew that game was over.
But that's the thing about baseball also. No matter where he is in the lineup, somehow that last at-bat would have found him because that's what baseball is. It's karma.
Yeah.
And it's a real B, and it's coming for all of us, Sammy.
Hosmer to Xander. Great.
Oh, man. Woo. San Diego Sports 760, final break of the day. We'll be back. We'll kind of set you up for John and Jim. We'll recap long shots and get to any of the texts we missed because the text line has been on fire today. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760 for a final time here. It is Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long, and our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. You can win your way in before you can buy tickets. Live performances by Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Sammy Hagar, The Offspring, Tim McGraw, and more. September 19th and 20th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Listen to win tickets before you can buy them. 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m., including airfare, hotel accommodations in Las Vegas, plus $1,000. And our exclusive Capital One cardholder pre-sale begins next Wednesday, June 11th at 10 a.m. Actually, tomorrow, Wednesday, June 11th at 10 a.m. So make sure you're listening for that. All right, Sammy, something we did not close the loop on last week was Lil Wayne's new album, which I did listen to, and it does suck.
People hate it. I actually haven't got a chance. I listened to a few songs on it. I haven't got to listen to it top to bottom yet, but people despise it.
Bells is pretty good. I believe it's the 3rd song on the album.
What's the one with Big Sean? That's a pretty good tune.
I don't know, but I did not like it. I listened to it and I freaking loved Lil Wayne. Pretty much my entire high school years was Lil Wayne. Not me, not like I was him, but that was the music I listened to.
You were Lil Wayne.
And I thought that album sucked.
Yeah, it's all in the top 100 right now, but it's quickly falling out.
It's hard to see, man. It's hard to see the GOAT going downhill. This is like if Tom Brady stayed another year and was absolutely garbage at quarterback.
You think Lil Wayne your favorite rapper of all time?
Yes. It's up there. Lil Wayne, Eminem. They're both right there for me.
All right. Is that round out your top 5?
That's the list.
That's the whole list.
Yeah,
Eminem and
you
Lil
want me to
Wayne.
get into 2 Chainz? Because I can.
2 Chainz is a good rapper.
I like 2 Chainz a lot.
I go Ice Cube, Ice-T, Tupac. That's a sin that you don't have Tupac.
These are all 90s.
What's wrong with the 90s?
You weren't alive in them.
Oh, so I can't like music that I wasn't born for?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's impressive.
Snoop's in there.
Snoop-a-loop.
Then you got to go 50 Cent. I know there's a lot. Jay-Z. There's a lot of guys. Nas. You're missing out on a lot of guys.
I like Jay-Z a lot, especially the Black Album.
Yeah, of course.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Nelly doesn't get enough love. Eminem
is one of my favorites ever. That movie 8 Mile sealed that for me. I love that movie. I don't really know. I don't know the rap game. Movie. I don't know the rap game like Sammy knows it. I apologize. You want me to go through country? Because I can nail that.
I don't know. I know Billy Ray Cyrus. That's it.
He's a good one.
Well, Achy Breaky Heart.
Love Achy Breaky Heart. I think he's in some trouble these days, though. So maybe
he is?
I think so. There's financial trouble. I don't think it's anything.
Well, Miley's doing well, so he should be doing okay.
I think that was part of it. Like he may have been ripping some of her money. I don't know.
Really?
I didn't read too far into it, but
wild accusations coming from Fletcher about Billy Ray.
You know what? It's just I listen to half the things Travis Dale says in the morning, and I pick up little snippets of it.
That would be something that Travis would know.
All right. Padres, Dodgers, game 2 tonight. Dylan Cease on the mound. How we feeling about it? Yesterday, Sammy and I did some predictions. We were way off. Well, no, I
said the Dodgers would win last night. I said the Padres would win tonight.
Yeah, but you said it was going to be 6-5, much like I said it was going to be 6-5 in extras. We got part of that right.
Wait, no. You said 6-5. I said 7-6. So technically, I was off by just a little bit.
Did you? I felt like I remember you saying I like that score.
So, but I prices righted you. I went up one.
Okay. So what do you got for tonight, Sammy? Give me the official prediction. I know betting Dodgers are favored. They have a 54.2% chance to win tonight. Actually, Padres are favored -120.
I would go 858 says Lil Uzi is the GOAT. Argue with the wall.
Who is Lil Uzi?
The fact that you don't know Lil Uzi, he's a rapper.
Lil Uzi Vert?
I'll educate. Yeah, I'll educate.
Did I just pull that out?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Look at you, Lil Uzi Vert. I think it's a performance for the Padres. I'm going to go 4-3. Dylan Cease goes 7 innings, gives up 2 runs.
7 innings from Dylan Cease. My God, the Padres would sign up for that in a heartbeat. So you got 4-3. Cease goes 7. How many runs does he give up?
2.
And then whoever pitches the 8th is giving up a run.
Mm-hmm.
And then Suarez closes it out.
Yep.
I like that game script. I do. I think the Padres would love for that to happen. Give me, this is going to be an offensive night once again. The Dodgers are too good 1 through 9. I do think the Padres win. The Padres are going to have to score some runs. Give me 8-6. Padres win. Padres win 8-6. Dylan Cease goes 6 2/3.
I guess it's not crazy. It was 8-7 last night. So
6 2/3 for Dylan Cease. So he cashes, but he does give up some runs late in this performance.
Yeah, we need Dylan Cease over 16.5 pitching out. So he needs to go.
That's why I pulled out 6 and
very frustrated at Mike Schilt if he pulls in before.
Wait, no, he needs to go 5 2/3.
5 2/3.
So I got Dylan Cease going 6.
Yeah, it's a cash.
He's gonna give up some runs.
That's fine.
Later in his
we don't want to
performance.
give up runs, but the cash.
But also, Dylan Cease is not great in the first inning. And then he starts to settle down. Yeah.
Dustin May could not find a strike zone last night.
Oh, my God.
That's why I was surprised the Padres lost that game. It was like Pivetta and him were horrible.
The flying tomato was splattering a little bit last night. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. John and Jim are coming up next. I'm sure there'll be much more coverage about was it a ball, was it a strike? It was a strike.
Shout out to all 800 of you guys on our stream.
How about
it
that?
Means a lot.
What a winner. Do you remember the name of our winner today for Dirks?
Leonard.
Leonard's
going to the show.
My guy. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.